Vanakkam to the South Indian. You know, I always tell my friends and colleagues in New Delhi and Noida that for you, issues from South India only become important when it involves a great South Indian actor or films or something else, which, if seen through the prism of how serious it is impacting policies and politics of this country, it really goes somewhere really below at least my pecking order. But thank God for small mercies. This is the election season, and for once the South is right on top, and we are going to discuss exactly that. I have said this many times and I have no hesitation in repeating myself yet again. No other Prime Minister has ever focused on Tamil Nadu the way Prime Minister Narendra Modi has. It is the election season, and in his latest salvo, Modi focused on two issues: the ceding of the island of Katchatheevu to Sri Lanka by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1974, and the alleged connivance of the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam or DMK in doing so. And the second issue, or rather issues, that he raised is his interview to Tandi TV, in which he made his intent about Tamil Nadu loud and clear like never before. I am turning to that camera because I will tell you why. This is what we are going to speak about, the politics over Katchatheevu, because we are going to begin the show with that. And like I said, let us focus on the contentious Katchatheevu issue. On Monday, the Prime Minister cited a report by Daily based on a reply to an RTI filed by Tamil Nadu BJP President K. Annamalai, which stated that the then CM and DMK leader Muthuvel Karunanidhi was taken into confidence by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi when the island was ceded to Sri Lanka in 1974. Prime Minister Modi took to X and said, new details emerging on the issue of India handing over the Katchatheevu island to Sri Lanka have unmasked the DMK's double standards totally. Rhetoric aside, DMK has done nothing, and this is in all caps, to safeguard Tamil Nadu's interests. New details emerging on Katchatheevu have unmasked the DMK's double standards totally. The Congress and DMK are family units. They only care that their own sons and daughters rise. They don't care for anyone else. Their callousness on Katchatheevu has harmed the interest of our poor fishermen and fisherwomen in particular. The Prime Minister also targeted the Congress party directly, and this is what he said in a rally in Meerut.
कांग्रेस और इंडी अलायंस देश की अखंडता और देश की एकता को तोड़ते रहे हैं। तमिलनाडु में भारत के समुद्री तट से कुछ दूर, कुछ किलोमीटर दूरी पर श्रीलंका और तमिलनाडु के बीच में समंदर में एक टापू है, एक द्वीप है, कच्चाथीवू, अलग अलग नाम भी लोग बोलते हैं, कच्चाथीवू। ये द्वीप सुरक्षा की दृष्टि से बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। देश आजाद हुआ तब हमारे पास था, और ये हमारे भारत का अभिन्न अंग रहा है। लेकिन कांग्रेस ने 4-5 दशक पहले कह दिया कि ये द्वीप तो गैर जरूरी है, फालतू है, यहां तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है।
Let's also listen into what BJP State Unit President K. Annamalai said on the issue, as also Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar, and I come back to you.
For anybody outside the Tamil Nadu, you will also understand how an important piece of Bharat, an important piece of India, and more importantly, a historically important area of Tamil Nadu, in which fishermen for thousands of years had, without any interruption, had fishing rights, was mysteriously ceded away in 1974. Today, as you will read in papers or television channels, some of our Tamil brothers and sisters, fishermen brothers and sisters, getting arrested in the high sea, and the government of India under the able leadership of Honorable Prime Minister immediately getting them back, retrieving them back to our shore. This is a daily story. At the same time, some time back, we also seen how when 5 fishermen were sentenced for death penalty, how our Prime Minister have got them back to Tamil soil. We all know the story.
There is a member of parliament called G. Vishwanathan from Tamil Nadu. And he says, this is from quoting from parliament records, "We are worried about Diego Garcia, thousands of miles away from Indian territory, but we are not worried about this small island. When we speak of it, the Prime Minister," he is talking about Indira Gandhi ji, "the Prime Minister is said to have remarked in the AICC meeting that this is a little rock. I am reminded of those days when Pandit Nehru called about our northern boundary as a place where not a blade of grass grew." I would like to remind the Prime Minister that after this historic statement by Prime Minister Nehru, Pandit Nehru never regained the confidence of the country. This is going to happen to the Prime Minister when she says this is only a little rock and that there is nothing to worry about the territories of our country. So, as you can see, this is not just one Prime Minister, whether it was Pandit Nehru or whether it was Indira Gandhi. This very dismissive attitude, this little rock, this small island of no importance, this was the historic Congress attitude towards Katchatheevu.
Meanwhile, the Congress hit back at the Prime Minister, and Manikam Tagore questioned Prime Minister Modi for having done nothing to bring Katchatheevu back, even as ex-Finance Minister P. Chidambaram blamed Modi for raking up an issue from a distant past.
In the last 50 years, this fisherman problem has cropped up from time to time. Every central government, including Vajpayee's, every central government, including Dr. Manmohan Singh's, Mr. Narasimha Rao's, Mr. Devagowda's, Mr. Gujral's, every time we have negotiated with Sri Lanka and rescued our fishermen. Now, all that is in the past. You've been in power for 10 years. Has no fisherman been arrested in the last 10 years? Have you not negotiated with Sri Lanka and get those fishermen back? So the same Ministry of External Affairs, which is doing the job over the last 10 years, I'm presuming it's losing the job, was doing the job for the last 40 years, and Mr. Jaishankar was a part of that ministry. What is this absurd? See, according to the BJP, India became independent in 2014, and he is the first Prime Minister of India. And Mr. Jaishankar, when he became Foreign Minister, he is the first Foreign Minister of India. I mean, what are these silly allegations?
So, like I said, Katchatheevu has made headlines. We will talk about that first. And what is the other issue? The other issue that we shall discuss today is Prime Minister's interview to a Tamil news channel which made his intent on Tamil Nadu crystal clear. We shall take this up once we have gone around the experts panel who are joining us today on the Katchatheevu issue. Let me now introduce all the guests today. Banuchandar Nagarajan, political analyst; Kasthuri Shankar, who is a lawyer turned actress turned political analyst; Narayanan Thirupathy, Vice President of BJP in Tamil Nadu, and we are also awaiting Professor, there he is, I can see him, Professor Mukund Padmanabhan, senior journalist and of course author of a lovely book. All of you, a very, very warm welcome to you. Vanakkam. Let me, like I said, two topics. One is of course Katchatheevu and the other is about Prime Minister's interview to Tandi TV, where he made certain things extremely clear. I will first start with Kasthuri Shankar. Kasthuri Shankar, you know, if you read about it, and reams have been written, particularly after what the Prime Minister said, Katchatheevu really does not have a great strategic or geopolitical importance. Therefore, some may say, all right, this was ceded by Indira Gandhi in 1974, and perhaps there was in collusion with the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. Of course, Jayalalitha strongly wrote against it and said we should get it back and, invoke a constitutional amendment. But some may say, Mr. Modi, what were you doing for the past 10 years? How come this is convenient amnesia? How come you remembered it now? Your opening comments, Kasthuri Shankar.
I'm going to say several things. Number one, people can say that Katchatheevu does not have a significant geographical importance to the country of India. Those people are obviously completely disregarding the sentiments of the Tamil people across the strait, both in Sri Lanka as well as in Tamil Nadu. And in Tamil Nadu, anybody who respected the feelings and the sentiments of their Tamil people absolutely were conflict had happened with this with that plank every time. So are we going to say, that brings me to the next point, are we going to say that for the many, many years that Madam Jayalalitha was Chief Minister, she did nothing to reverse the policy? The fact remains that the efforts continued, but every time there is an election, we talk about it to the people. It is not like every day you stand up and go to the press and give a conference about what you're doing for Katchatheevu. But once policy is clear, once stance is clear, and that stance becomes public during an election, it becomes an election issue. Has BJP done this in the past? Unfortunately, I have that Vajpayee was supported ably by the DMK government. So I don't think he had the bandwidth to even talk about these issues. In general, and I say this with no offense to anyone, in general, governments in the center, New Delhi has always been apathetic to Tamil causes, be it the Sri Lankan issue, be it the Iram issue, be it the fishermen who frequently get incarcerated, captured in Sri Lanka, be it Sterlite, be it any Tamil Nadu issue. They have taken whichever party is in power, they have been apathetic to it, be it Hindi imposition. So I think it is a good change, at least. This time, there is a push to Tamil Nadu, towards Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has become the kingmaker, and this is the time, strike while the iron is hot. If Prime Minister Modi and Annamalai ji are choosing to talk about it, so be it. Let's not question why they do it at election time. Even at election time, nobody did it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Very strong words coming from Kasthuri Shankar there. Narayan, I want to come to you. So, if this was a major thorn on our side, when I say our meaning Tamils, that it was something which was not taken up, your party was in alliance with the AIADMK, Narayan. I mean, even at that time, there was talk about it. You read the papers, you will know 5 fishermen caught there, imprisoned, not coming, women wailing on the side. In Ramanathapuram, we've seen this again and again. But how come there was no action even at that time? It did not become such a big issue like it has. And I am all for Prime Minister Modi, that is one Prime Minister who's putting the focus on Tamil Nadu and has said it. But what happened then? Do you think the AIADMK was reluctant somehow to stir the hornet's nest, Narayan?
First of all, we should understand that we should study this problem. It is the DMK and the Congress both put together involving in the conspiracy. They have given it officially, legally to Sri Lanka in the year 1974. They have entered into an agreement in which the Indian fishermen, the Tamil fishermen were allowed to go there, dry their nets, and they can use that land for religious purposes, and also they have been very clear that they can enjoy there and all those things. They can risk there everything. But the 1976 agreement, they have cancelled that. So that is the main issue. Now you should understand that it is legally they have given it to Sri Lanka.
All right.
And now suddenly these people are asking that BJP is not doing anything. We need to understand that Indira Gandhi, right from Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi, they were committed to give this land to Sri Lanka, And it was with the colluding with Mr. Karunanidhi, with the knowledge of Mr.
Yeah.
Karunanidhi, it was given to Sri Lanka. So, but right from then on, the DMK is doing a very big drama, saying that they will retrieve Katchatheevu. This is the main issue. And at that time, it was Mr. Vajpayee, Atal Bihari Vajpayee,
No.
our honorable former Prime Minister, who had in the parliament and
Yeah,
fought
Narayan.
for this cause. Yeah, wait. First of all, people should understand what is the history. Kasthuri was saying that BJP was not interested. Okay, so I need to answer that. And it was under the guidance of Mr. Vajpayee, Mr. Janak Krishnamurthy, our All India President in the year 2000. He had gone to the court, Madras High Court, in the year 1974 itself, to the Madras High Court,
Right.
asking for retrieving of Katchatheevu. But the DMK government had very clearly said they don't have any documents. But whereas the documents were with them, it was the foreign secretary that time had said that DMK refused or denied to give any documents.
All
We
right.
need to understand this clearly. So they
Yeah.
have done it. Now the question is why this is being raked up now, why this is being in the surface now.
I didn't say why it should not be, Narayan. I am saying you were in alliance with AIDMK. What did you do then? They are also a Dravidian party, no? You could have done something, no? Considering you are within quotes a nationalistic party, Narayan, is what I am asking you. That you rake it up, please, by all means. But you were in a marriage with AIADMK. I want to ask you something that it's so close to the Dravidian parties, right? I mean, when Muka Stalin came twice to Delhi to meet with Prime Minister Modi, Katchatheevu was right on top as one of the agenda. But I don't see any kind of, yes, they do, beat their breasts and chest and say, oh God, Katchatheevu, so many people are dying, etc. But I haven't really seen any kind of a concrete action on the part of both the Dravidian parties. I mean, Narayan Thirupathy spoke about how the documents were lost. I find that rather preposterous and strange, Professor.
Well, I mean, I just want to approach this from a slightly different perspective, which is that if you had a maritime agreement with Sri Lanka in 1974 and you have ceded Katchatheevu, which you have done perhaps because, you felt it was not of great strategic significance and because you wanted to deepen your relationship with a neighbor, that was done. Now, I'm not sure whether there's a residual legal issue. I mean, Jayalalitha did claim that, you needed a constitutional amendment and so on and so forth. Putting that aside, what is the remaining issue now? The remaining issue has to do with the rights of fishermen at most.
Right.
I see this as an issue with, hey, this island lies not so far from Tamil Nadu. So in some way, it is a Tamil Nadu island. No, it's not. It's an Indian island. And something was done. So I'm fine. I mean, if politicians want to rake this up, which they have done, both the DMK and the ADMK have done it. Mr. Modi has referred to it. And I think that will continue to happen. That is the cut and thrust of politics as it stands now. But, the matter really has been given a quietus a long time back. How do you retrieve this island back? At what cost? I think these are the real questions that go on. I think the political noise about this is really not so significant. At the end of the day, if there are issues relating to the drying of nets and so on, which there have been, and relating to fishermen, I think those need to be debated, sorted, and ironed out. But somehow, a sort of either the issue that seems to be hinted at in some way is that what happened in 1974 was wrong, and we can debate this until the cows come home. It doesn't really matter. And somehow we should find a way of getting this, which is, I think, a rather far-fetched and somewhat preposterous idea.
All right. And Banuchandar, do you think, do you agree with what Professor Padmanabhan says? Because I think India has changed over the years, and maybe I don't belong to that India, maybe you do, maybe someone else does not, but everything is an emotive issue. It's about, let's say, for lack of any other example, the Kohinoor. It's about all our artifacts stuck in the British Library. It's about saying reparation time and again and saying, give it back to us what you took by force. But here, our own people kind of ceded it, very, very casually and said, it's not of so much of strategic importance. Imagine if I lived there. I mean, of course, you can't inhabit it, I know that. But if I lived somewhere closer there and I was a fisherwoman, I do not know. I think it becomes a very emotional issue. So do you think it's more emotional than geopolitical or strategic, Banuchandar? Unmute yourself, Banu.
There are, I think on.
Now I can hear you. Yeah, go on.
So I think there are multiple issues here, Sudha, multiple angles to the issue. Obviously, there is an element of national security because it's a vital island, and you get closer to mainland Sri Lanka if you have that. That's number one. Second is it is very important for the physical security of a fisherman who get apprehended by the Sri Lankan Navy. It is important for the economic security for our fishermen. So it's important. So on the question of whether it can be retrieved back is a different question, but the perfidy of the Congress party with Indira Gandhi and Prime Minister Nehru has to be pointed out. It is election season. Obviously, politicians will pick and choose issues, but the perfidy has to be pointed out. I don't think that the Congress can run away from this issue. And see, we have helped Sri Lanka during the crisis recently, right, when the country was totally bankrupt. So we have a lot of leverage over Sri Lanka. And I think politically this could be worked out. I don't know why people are so pessimistic about it. So I think both strategically and for tactical reasons, Katchatheevu is very important for India.
All right. So there you have it. 4 different viewpoints on what Katchatheevu means to different people.